Was 11-year-old Audrii Cunningham pregnant at the time of her death? That's a question that was in a comment on YouTube yesterday, and I can't stop thinking about it. I'm searching for information. We don't know that aspect yet, but I have been searching on the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences website. So we know that Audrii was transferred to Harris County. The Sheriff Byron Lyons, said that Audrii's body was taken to the Harris County Medical Examiner's office in Houston to determine the cause of death. So the cause of death, according to this website, is no longer pending. I actually recorded my research because the website, it is pretty wonky. This website is hard to navigate, but sleuths have narrowed it down and found out that Audrii Cunningham has a homicidal violence with blunt head trauma listing, according to the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences website. So I've put in request for more information from the PIO, but generally, if you visit the link below, you'll be able to navigate like I'm navigating. I'll put it to the side of me somewhere so you can see how wonky this website is. Eventually, you should be able to find a white female, case number OC24002. OC must indicate, I'm assuming, children, because the other people have an ML number, but she has a next of kin relationship as the San Jacinto Justice of the Peace. It says the certificate of death is not ready. The cause of death pending? No. The manner of death is homicide, like the sheriff predicted and anticipated. This is how we know it's Audrii. The place of death is Trinity River, Shepherd, Texas. Report completed? No. So of course, once this report is completed, which could take a long time, I understand, we might get the answer to that question about pregnancy. Ready for transport? It says not ready. It does say the date of death, February 20th, 2024. We know that's the date, Tuesday, February 20th, and it was right around that time that cops figured out what happened to Audrii. We know right around that time, 1:30 p.m., is when cops recovered Audrii from the river after having the water levels lowered. I just so happened to be listening around that time too, thank God, to the scanner around 2-ish, and I put that little snippet in there.
Unit 1.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be back out at the Trinity River Bridge on that follow-up.
Okay.
In my previous video of law enforcement said he was going back to Trinity River Bridge, so obviously they knew then. They had discovered her. They were being a little, obscure over the dispatch as usual. Now this is it. Primary cause of death, homicidal violence with blunt head trauma. It's all horrible, but it's lining up from some of what we've seen from a woman who was posting on Reddit. She claims she's the wife of a law enforcement officer, and she had given some of these details previously that are lining up. We'll know more info about what happened to Audrii when it's meant to be known, but I'll tell you what lines up with what this woman told us. But first, that pregnancy question that a YouTube viewer commented yesterday when I was watching another creator's live, boy, it really sticks with me. Pregnancy is possible for those who say, oh, she's only 11, it's not possible. People know it is possible, unfortunately. I mean, I started my cycle when I was a 10-year-old, so I was like advanced for my age. I'm wondering, is that what set Stephen McDougal off? We're assuming he did some stuff to her, and that's not necessarily a broad leap. Unfortunately, the autopsy might tell us that too. The many ways he might have been inappropriate with little Audrii. So I keep wondering, what was the trigger? What set him off? The pervert likely would have kept her around forever, but was she in such a state where his crimes would have become evident after a while? If a young girl shows up pregnant, people are going to start asking questions like, how did this happen? What happened? I'm wondering, is that what triggered him? Was Audrii trying to tell people? We've got more rumors on Facebook where Audrii allegedly made outcries. Allegedly, and this just made me so sad, she may have written letters to people about what she was going through, trying to reach out for help. Reportedly, people are saying there may have been Child Protective Service reports or visits, but nothing was apparently done to save her from this madman until she went to heaven. Thank God she's away from him now. So I'm wondering, okay, what triggered him that day to get rid of his little toy, as it were, in his sick mind? Did he know she was going to tell someone? Was she pregnant? Maybe she wasn't. What was the impetus for him to do what he did? It looks like, homicidal violence with blunt head trauma. And the only saving grace, if you can call it that, is that it appears Audrii didn't go into the water alive. We'll know more, of course. This is all still, it's only confirmed in terms of the Harris County website. Primary cause of death, homicidal violence with blunt head trauma. It doesn't say drowning or something like that. And of course, we believe this is her because of all the surrounding factors, the time, the date of death, the place of death, the manner of death, all of that. It just saddens me that Audrii was in his presence, McDougal's presence, this man who, he's up to no good. I can't even keep up with all his victims. I've done so much research on him, and every day it seems like a new victim comes out. There's the Alec guy who, if you listen to Nancy Grace, Alec spoke with Nancy Grace Moore, talking about how he had to kick McDougal out of the house years ago because he was being inappropriate with some other woman, some married woman, trying to, sleep with her, and they kicked him out. That's when McDougal came back with a knife. Alec had to take the butt of a shotgun and hit him. There's that guy. There's the guy we went over, David Stanley, the victim who was really stabbed in August of last year by McDougal. Unfortunately, McDougal was not put away for that where he should have been, so he could have been away from Audrii to not torture her with whatever the heck he did to her. And there's another woman, a female, who came forward talking about being one of his first victims, Stephen's first victims. I don't even know if she's the same woman who was the woman under 17 who he was trying to pull off her pajama bottoms. There's so many victims this man has. He's got so many mugshots. But the rumors about him being harmed in jail are not true. There's this press release that came out from Sheriff Lyons saying all these false rumor stories floating around in social media in reference to inmate Don Stephen McDougal's incarceration here at Polk County Jail. He's in a single cell by himself. This is what's true. Since his arrest, he hasn't had contact with any other inmates. His welfare has not been threatened. He's not experienced or sustained any injuries since his incarceration in the Polk County Jail. Sheriff's Office is taking every precaution to ensure that McDougal receives appropriate welfare conditions. So people are like, whoa, I wish he was harmed. But no, we don't necessarily want jail justice. Maybe we do. I don't know. It just makes us so angry what he did to Audrii. And now that we're seeing more and more info about it, and just imagine, what if the ME, the medical examiner, comes back saying Audrii was pregnant? What if she truly had tried to do the right thing, to reach out to people, to say, help, this man is harming me, and no one helped her. That's what's so. What did turn out to be true with these Reddit screenshots? Some people may have seen them, some people may have, poo-pooed this woman, OK Tennis 66607. But days ago, before they even found Audrii, what she was saying was true. She had written, she is dead, it's not in the media yet, but I'm local, they have specific details and are looking for her body right now. So people are like, what details? And they're saying, yes, they found evidence in his vehicle and he told them where and the specifics of how they would find her. And that turns out to be true because, as we learned, investigators were able to match the rope with what Audrii was allegedly tied with the rock, with rope that was in McDougal's truck. So this person was saying, I wish they'd just announced that he confessed. I don't know why they can't say that in the presser. This person wrote, I don't either. My partner is on the ground there now, so I can't call, but I'm planning to ask why they wouldn't release some of the info. I was wondering if it's because a couple of jurisdictions are working on it. Part of me hopes it's because they can pin her dad with something for allowing, she called him an SO. Technically he wasn't. He should have been on some registry. Allowing an SO roommate to take her to meet the bus. So this person was going to ask about FBI limits and stuff and report back. But this is what this person wrote before anyone knew, any of us knew, that Audrii was weighted down. They said, I do. He weighted her, so that might actually help. But that's my uneducated opinion. Houston police have professional divers who find a lot of stuff that's been tossed. I'm sure they will keep on it until they have a body, especially since it's a kid, of course, would give anyone the search they deserve, but things likely hit harder when it's a child. True, and it actually did help that he weighted her, because that means her body stayed in one place, cold in the river, which would help prevent decomp, the water being that cold. I don't know what she was inside of, but that means the flow did not take her far, far away where they couldn't find her. So this person knew about Audrii being weighted before we did. And they're talking about the photos on Facebook where he was selling stuff, and this person was going to go back and delete stuff they said, but they're saying, well, screenshots last forever. This person didn't know much about the social media talk. And here's that outcry. Allegedly, Audrii wrote letters to her teachers asking for help. 3 CPS cases were opened, closed. They're saying CPS failed her. This town is near me. And her funeral, by the way, has been paid in full. So this person wrote, the one who was telling about the details before it was in the media, they're saying, thanks for understanding. They're saying, yes, they found evidence in his vehicle. He told them where. This person had written, he confessed this morning. I don't know the exact date they wrote this. I haven't been watching. I'm local. I have a child the same age, and a couple of details I heard made me so sick I just can't. I'm glad they finally got him out there to show where he, and that kind of cuts off. It's kind of hard to know the order of these. They talk about social media journalists, bloggers, and YouTubers can really get in the way a lot of times. I think that's why they've been vague in what they're feeding out as an official update, even though the rest is all out there now. Well, no, it's still not out there, and I think I know why. We might have been perhaps lied to in the press conference about whether McDougal confessed or not. I have my own opinions, but let's get through the screenshots, make sure I got all of them. Partners on the ground. I wish a little part of me could feel that her family deserves the respect you're showing them. And this person who was spilling the beans said, thank you, but it's really not for her family. It's fully out of respect for the person who gave me the information. Allegedly somewhere in here, I believe she's married to Law. There it is. She wrote, I said specifically why I wouldn't give the details because they haven't been released to media, and I'm not sure if family has the specifics yet. My partner is in law enforcement and was venting to me earlier about how terrible this is. They don't need any more helping out. So I don't know if she meant the searchers or what. Oh no, poor baby. I hope she was passed before that happened, if this is the case. The person replied, she did. So this lines up with the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences, saying Audrii's primary cause of death was homicidal violence with blunt head trauma, not drowning. So several things that this person married to law enforcement in the area claimed are panning out. And then she talks about the weight, and a lot of these are duplicated, and that's it. So it's horrible. She knew the truth. Her law enforcement partner, I don't blame him. It's a lot. Can't imagine what they had to see out there. So her partner came home venting to her. My opinion is we were lied to in the presser. This is why I think we were lied to. I kind of don't blame them, but I hope it doesn't mess anything up. God bless law enforcement. They probably got McDougal in there, hemming and hawing. Who knows what he was saying. You know, he wasn't signing that paperwork. We looked at probable cause, and I'll link to it all and everything below. But he was probably in there, farting around with them, and they probably said, look, we will take the death penalty for you off the table if you show us where Audrii is now. And I bet you that's when they took him out there. When we saw Saturday Miguel's video saying, whatever Miguel said.
They're fixing it from the Plunder.
McDougal was pointing to something in the water. That's why there's all this controversy about McDougal giving them the idea to lower the water. He probably did tell them some of what he did, if not a full confession, and told them where to find her. And they don't want to take the death penalty off the table, so they probably are like, look, no, he didn't confess. We didn't offer him any deal. I hardly blame him. I just so angry at what he likely did to Audrii, and what more will we find out? I don't know. It might take a while, but that's what we have confirmed for now. Jeremiah 23:24. Can anyone hide himself in secret places so that I cannot see him, says the Lord? Do I not fill heaven and earth, says the Lord? That's the only saving grace, that she is with the Lord. When I think about where Audrii is now, I just think about her. Okay, no matter how many outcries she may have made, if that's true or not, heaven help her, she's with God now. She's with Jesus now. She's with a man who will never harm her. She is with the Lord, where she only knows peace and happiness beyond anything she ever experienced in these 11 short years on earth. She might have felt just, so scared, and she might have felt like people didn't want her and her family situation. You know, to be left with this yahoo as your babysitter. I don't know how she felt. But now that she's in heaven, thank God she's there. We will watch this case, follow it, see her get her justice. We'll find out more details. I guess we'll have to be prepared to hear anything. We don't know if he used the rock that he tied her with for this homicidal violence with blunt head trauma or not, or some other object. You know, there's more talk about his truck and tree and tracks and all that. We'll find out more when we get a fuller picture from authorities of this case, but that's what we have now from Harris County. So thank you so much for watching.